Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of the mini-series, Nutrition. In this section we are going to be talking about what nutritional requirements having reindeer in a farm setting will be. And so we're going to be discussing different feedstuffs, different forages, nutritional components of those, and then we'll eventually get into some neonatal requirements. Bottle feeding and some of the more specific nutritional requirements of the neonates. Enjoy. Okay, so in front of us here we have some of the essential nutrients that would be required to have reindeer in a farm setting. Make sure and give them the nutrition that they need. So first of all, our main nutrient is going to be water in any type of animal husbandry situation. If the animal does not get enough clean water, that's going to limit how much it eats. That's going to limit how the nutrition plays a role in essential maintenance function, growth, things like that. So one of the most important components of feeding a reindeer in a farm setting is going to be your hay source. So here we have some nice Timothy hay. It's leafy. It's I know the analysis on this. I know that it's a higher protein, that the digestibility is good, and so reindeer are interesting. Reindeer are ruminant. They have a 4-chambered digestive system, so they're able to eat grass and turn it into energy and growth. And they also have a very unique feeding strategy. A lot of ruminants, a lot of animals that eat grass will be a certain type of feeder. The reindeer are actually they're what we call a concentrate selector in the part of the year where they need more energy and protein, and where they need more intake, more feed, and then towards the end of the season, where they're kind of slowing down a little bit, where their body is kind of slowing down a little bit and they've already grown as much as they're going to grow, they will be what we call more of a bulk feeder, and they'll put on their fat. And so they go from being a concentrate selector to being a bulk feeder. And so we call reindeer intermediate feeders, which is just kind of a classification of how their strategy for foraging or for eating. So hay or any type of forage is going to be composed of mostly you're going to have your energy component in there, you're going to have your fiber component, and you're going to have your protein component. So depending on what stage of growth that forage or that plant is at, or that in this case this Timothy hay, that's going to determine the kind of nutrition that I have in that hay, and that's going to have a lot to do with how your animal grows or performs. The other thing we're going to talk about is the trace mineral block. This is kind of a, if you were giving your animals exactly what they needed in a perfect world, you wouldn't need this, but the trace mineral block is going to have all those trace minerals, all those different that maybe a reindeer will lick dirt for, or some type of bark or something for. And so we've got all that here. Typically this is given kind of free choice, and so the reindeer will, throughout the day might come and lick this. The reindeer might not even touch this at all if it's getting plenty of what it needs from the feed that you already have in there. I actually give my guys, this is pure salt, so there are certain functions that depending on what time of year it is, that will require more salt than anything else. So if you've got your salt tied in like this block, then maybe the reindeer doesn't need all those other minerals. Maybe it just needs salt, for example, when it has a calf and it's producing milk. Salt is going to be an important component, an important part of producing that milk. So there's all kinds of different mineral blocks. These are the two that I use in my feeding regime. So the next thing is going to be also a very important, one of the most important parts of your feeding regime. We talked about the hay, we talked about the forage component of it, the fiber component of it. This is what we call a balanced milled ration. So because we're feeding them behind fence, we need to replicate what they would normally be eating. And so with all the vitamins and minerals and trace and trace mineral components, we can look at we can look at this, we can get an analysis, and we could know what's in here. And so this little pellet here, this is a 17% crude protein ration, and so this is going to have it's going to have a lot of different ingredients in it that the feed mill is gonna come up with, right? It's going to have barley in here. It's going to have alfalfa meal, maybe some beet pulp. One of the really cool things about reindeer is that we can kind of utilize what our region can grow and make a feed that they are able to thrive on. This takes a lot of research to get to this point. It takes a lot of really a lot of science and a lot of knowledge to produce something that reindeer can grow, thrive off of, have calves with, produce babies, and everything else. So this is really important. So these are kind of the basic things that we just talked about. Now we're going to get into some of what we call supplements. So these little pink, red pellets here, that's just a supplement. So this supplement is really high in protein, like maybe 30%, and it's got more of the trace minerals, and it's got a little bit more of, for example, some of the limiting amino acids, some of the proteins that are very much responsible, play a bigger role in maybe growth or production. These little pellets are going to provide just a little bit extra nutrition, and so if you have maybe a calf that needs a little bump, you know, the calves that are growing require more nutrition or higher nutrition than an older animal that that is just kind of maintaining. And then the last thing we have here is what we call a probiotic kind of mineral vitamin thing. This one in particular has all of those, and this is just also another supplement, kind of to just to assist with digestion and provide a little bit of a bump to help out your animals. And so, in a farm setting, we're always looking at the best interest of the animals in feeding them what they need. So they're completely dependent upon us for their nutritional requirements. They can't go out and forage it themselves if you have them in a farm setting. So if you are in charge, if you are the person feeding your animal, we need to understand what these guys require, what their optimal nutrition is. Hey everybody, now we're going to talk a little bit about neonates. That's basically calves. And some of the nutrition that they require. These guys are born into an environment that does not have a lot of resources, and so they require their mom's milk, which is really high in fat and has a good amount of protein. And so mom's milk has about 20% fat and 10% protein. These two guys were, they're born at about 15 pounds. Unfortunately, their moms were not able to take care of them, so at some point we have to intervene. And so we got mom's first milk into them, the colostrum, and then we had to bottle feed these guys. And so we use a milk replacer, and every 2-3 hours for the first week or two, and then eventually we're feeding them just every couple days or so, and then we wean the calves. All right, now these guys are weaned, and they rely solely on the feed that we feed them. So a balanced milled ration, a good quality hay, and some shrubs and any type of supplemental forage that we want to bring them.